What's going on? Okay. Now, I'm being serious about this. It's not funny. Okay. I'm actually going to show you how to make a cake. Not just any cake, but a single layer cake. And then next time I'll help show you how to make a double layer cake. Single layer cake is the easiest. So we'll go ahead and do that. But also make sure you have the proper ingredients. KitchenAid is an excellent tool to make yourself the most sweetest goodies. But always make sure you have this. Okay? The reason for this is so it'll whip it, aerate it, and make sure that that cake rises to its fullest extent. Okay, next we're going to start off with some foil. Okay, then we got 1 cup of water, one third of oil. I like to use corn oil. Vegetable oil works good too. Some baking spray. Now, if you don't have a baking spray, you can use anything you want. Preferably use baking spray. That way it doesn't stick to anything. We're using a single deep dish pan here. It's a separated pan, so it'll make it easier to extract the cake. We have 3 eggs, and then we have our cake mix. Now, when you're doing cakes, always follow the directions. Never deviate from them. Okay? Regardless. Now, with a pan that I just showed you, alright, with a single pan like that, we're going to do this. We're going to do it this way. We're going to do it for 40 minutes. Okay? We're going to deviate on purpose. Because if we don't do it for the 40 minutes, it's not going to cook thoroughly all the way through. We might get lucky. Also, make sure that your oven is preset for 350 degrees exactly. Do not, no less, no more. Any less, it won't cook thoroughly. Any more, it'll overcook and burn. Okay? Always do it for exactly the exact temperature that the instructions specifically say. Okay? Never deviate. Now let's go ahead and get this stuff ready. Now, for the baking spray, I personally use baking spray. You can use whatever you want. You can use canola oil. I would preferably, the best thing to do is not to use canola oil or corn oil when you're using foil or in a baking pan. Okay, don't ever use that for a simple reason: A, it'll stick, and B, when you're trying to extract it from a pan, guess what's going to happen? It's going to fall apart and rip, and you will definitely have to start all over again, and you really don't want to. Alright? Also, when you're making sure you get the foil, make sure when you're using baking spray, and that's the preferred method, okay, is baking spray. Make sure it's flour though. Okay, make sure it's the flour style. Because if you use anything other than flour, your cake is still going to stick to the foil regardless. Okay? Also, when you're actually extracting the cake, and I will show you how to do it proper way, you want to be extremely gentle with it regardless if you have baking spray. Okay? You want to be gentle. You want to be extremely gentle like you would a baby, a newborn baby. Alright? You want to be that gentle with it. So that way it doesn't rip. And we'll show you how to do it in a little bit. First, we got to make the mix. Okay, now that we got all our ingredients, we already done the pan. Alright, now we're going to add the ingredients to the bowl. Alright. Now, when you're doing this, make sure you do it at a quick lightning speed. Otherwise, you're definitely going to have some really not so great looking mixture. if you're really good at doing this, you can crack an egg and split it with one hand. If you're really good. I would advise against it if you're just a basic cook. You know. And there, see there we go. I just dropped a piece of shell in the batter. So I gotta fish it out. That's another reason why you do not want to do it with one hand. I'm doing it with one hand because, see, there we go. There's another piece. See, that's another reason why. Because you gotta fish out the shell. You have it in there. Okay. Folks, make sure you always do it with two hands when you're cracking an egg. Okay. That way you make sure you don't get any eggshell in there. Okay, like I just did. Okay. Another thing is, as I said, make sure you have a really good machine. KitchenAid is the best because it does it like really super good. Okay, I don't want to start it off yet. Okay, basically, I already have the mixture in. Alright. Now, one more thing we did forget to have. Alright, one more thing we did forget. Alright. And that's this. Okay, we need this for several reasons. A, we need to get into there, into that bowl. When they get stuck on the side, we make sure, clearly sure, and we're going to go ahead and start this. I'll start this on 1. And as you can pretty much hear, it's already mixing as it is. And then what you want to do, and when you start seeing stuff on the side, get it in, get it down in there. Make sure all the mix gets down in there. Make sure it all gets down in there. If you don't, you're liable to have mix on the sides. Now this is the crucial part. You notice there's chunks in there, right? Okay. Right now we have it on stir. We're going to move it up to 6. And what that's going to do is that's going to make it to where it stays nice and fluffy. All the mix gets in there. Everything gets, and you know, we're going to beef it up to 10. Alright. Now since we've done that, it's going to be nice and super fluffy in one pan. So, we'll see what happens at the aftermath. And then I'll show you how to pour it properly. And we'll definitely use 2 hands with this one. Okay, now that we got it mixed up, let me show you how super fluffy it is. Now look at that batter. Look at that batter just fall off that whip. That's the consistency you want, folks. If you have that consistency, you're aces when it comes to cake mixing. Now, we're going to put it in the pan. Okay, now, what we're going to do is move some of this stuff out of the way. And then we're going to pour the mix into the pan. Now watch as it drips out. Look at that. Look at that consistency. Looks like butter. Looks like rich whipped butter. Almost like buttermilk. Okay. You'll make sure you get all the batter out. Every bit of batter. I mean, we're talking every bit of batter. Because if you don't, you're liable to cut yourself short a little bit when making a cake. Now the reason we're doing a single layer, folks, is A, it's my birthday. My birthday tomorrow. And not only that, But doing a single layer will be step 1. Step 2 will be a single layer. And step 3 will be the triple layer. But right now, single layer is what you want to know first. Okay? That's what you want to know first, is single layer only. Now, that little fun, okay? When you get a cake in there, and if you noticed, it looks a little weird looking, right? Wrinkly. Shake it. Or, you know, shake it, you know, beat it, stir it, and it'll get the wrinkles out. You'll have some bubbles still, okay? But when it's cake like this, it's to be expected. Okay, we've got the cake. The mix is done. Now we just put it in the oven. Now, remember what I said? Make sure you set it for a longer period of time for a single layer cake. Okay, I mean it. And we just put it in the oven like so. And you know what? We're going to put it on a pan for safe measure. For safe measure, we're going to put it on a pan. Okay? A reason being is because the type of cake thing this is, the type of pan this is, I had to put foil on there to keep it from leaking. Okay, we've got it in the oven now. If you want, get a light on yours. Okay, you can actually watch it. Though you can't watch it rise, however, you can turn the light on. You know, me, sometimes I choose to have the light off. If you have a timer, use your timer. And turn your timer on and set it for technically, we can't use that one because it's not a very timer, so we're going to use the microwave timer. And you still want to set it, kitchen timer, and you want to set it for 40 minutes. And then once that 40 minutes is done, as you can see, it's counting down. Once that 40 minutes is done, we know that the cake is going to be thoroughly cooked inside and out. We know it's whipped really good. And then when the 40 minutes is done, we'll take a look, take it out, and also make sure when you, and toothpick it, okay? Toothpick it for a reason, okay? The reason you want to toothpick it is so that way you know the inside is cooked. Or you can use a knife, whatever method you want to use. Toothpick or knife, it's really strictly up to you how you want to do it. I do it for 40 minutes because I've done it before on 40 minutes and I've had to before. So we'll see in 40 minutes. Okay. It's gonna look a little fucky weird, but this is after it's been cooked. So it's been cooking for a little longer than I actually expected, so it cooked for like 45 minutes. But that's okay. That's a-okay. It looks good. It's clean. It's crystal clear. Let's see what we can do here. And what we're going to do, we're going to get out a plate, and we are going to let the cake itself, the one layer, cool on a cooling rack. And we're going to let it cool on a cooling rack. We're going to take it out and we're going to set it someplace. Find a good place. Preferably put it over a plate if you can, if you have the ability. And you know, all you can do is let it cool, and then ice it up, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's iced up. Okay, now this is what the cake is supposed to look like on the bottom. As you notice, there's nothing missing. Okay, it's nice and like super thick, fluffy. I mean, look how thick that sucker is. Okay, now right now it's on a cooling rack. Now I put a plate underneath it in case you know, it starts crumbling or anything like that. Okay, basically what you want to do after that, after it's cooled, your cake. Now we're going to put nice chocolate icing on it, okay? Now what we're going to use to do that after it's cooled, after about 25 minutes, after it's cooled after 25 minutes, we're going to also set a timer for 25 minutes, kitchen timer, and we're going to set it for 25 minutes, and we're going to wait 25 whole minutes, let that cool for that 25 minutes. We'll get back to it, and I'll try to ice it properly. And then after that, it's all done. My birthday cake. All right, everyone. Now I promised I would show I would actually show you guys how to ice it. Okay, but it took a little longer than I expected. Okay, there's the finished product. Okay, as you noticed, now I had some fun. Doing it. But basically, it's chocolate with, you know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't have a turnstile. Sweet icing. Okay, but anyway, guys, that's how you make a chocolate cake or any variation. Doesn't matter if you use chocolate, strawberry, any flavor will work really. But basically, that's how you make a one-layer cake. Next time, I'll show you how to make a two-layer cake, and it'll take less time. And later on the line, I'll show you how to make a three-layer, and so forth. Right now, stick with the one-layer cake. It's gonna be your best bet. It's gonna be the easiest. And honestly, it's safer going that route for your first time making a cake. Now, for those who are avid cake makers, I salute you. To all the avid cake makers out there who are way beyond me. But this is basically a footage file of how to make a cake for the basics. So this is basic cake making 101. So I salute and I say goodbye. And in closing, the finished product.